welcome back, guys, to another reloading video. We are going to start reloading the confirmation load for the 143 grain ELDX, and we're going to do a couple different loads on that one. So our most accurate group wise ended up being 40.6 grains of H4350 at 35 thousandths off the lands. As a commenter pointed out, if I add, put together the 25 thousandths off the lands, the 20 thousandths off the lands, and the 15 thousandths off the lands, that's not a bad area as well. Because at 35 thousandths off the lands, both the groups before and after that one were awful, or terrible. So I'll probably load up a couple different loads. One is going to be, like I said, 40.6 grains of H4350, and we're going to keep it 35 thousandths off the lands. The next one we'll probably do 10 rounds of that, so 2 5-shot groups of that. We're going to keep 40.6 grains because that seemed like the most accurate powder wise, but we're going to do one that is 25 thousandths off the lands. We'll go from there, and we'll do 10 of those as well. 2 5-shot groups. We'll start from there, and we'll see what that ends up being on paper for group wise. And if that don't turn out good, which I'm sure we'll get some good groups in there, we'll take and play with the 35 thousandths off the lands, up and down just a hair, and we'll play with the 20 thousandths off the lands. I'm sure we'll get a decent group, we'll find a decent load between there, and then we'll be good to go. For reloading today, we're going to do 20 rounds, and all the brass is prepped and ready to go. Our next step is primers and powder and bullet. They're all resized, neck sized, bumped 2 thousandths, trimmed, chamfered, and deburred. So we are going to move on to our next step, which would be putting in the primer. Alright, so like I've told you guys, I like priming on the press. So let's prime a few of these guys for you. Alright, when you're priming on the press, you are priming on the downstroke. So just put a little primer in there. Try not to touch it as much as you can. And make sure everything's centered. Just give it a little press back. And you just gotta run your finger over it. Make sure it's flush. You're good to go. Easy as that. Alright, let's do another one. Put a little primer in the cup. Put the case in. Also make sure your primer pockets are nice and clean, and everything should seat pretty smooth. That one's good. I'm going to prime the rest of these and move on to the next step, which will be charging the cases. Alright guys, let's get going on the powder charge. Get some powder in my bowl here. And some powder in my trickler. There we go. Alright, let's make sure we're zeroed out. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Zero on both scales. Let's try out this new Lee scale I got here. Alright, so we're looking for 40.6. So 10, 20, 30, 40. And then looking for 0.6. That should be 40.6 right there. Give it a test run. Just primed here. I'd say that's pretty damn close. And on my digital scale, it weighs 40.8. Which there, yeah, that's showing right on. And that's showing 1 grain heavy. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna trust the balance beam a little bit more than the digital scales, but just because the balance beams can weigh just more accurately, down to 1/10, or actually just below 1/10. Alright, so let's get one more done. I like this beam scale, man, so far. It actually moves when you put 1 grain in instead of with electronic scale. You can put about 20 grains in and then it finally moves. There we go. And this time it shows 40.6. Oh, 47. Yep, 46. Alright. So it's accurate and repetitive so far. So that's good. Alright, let me show you guys one more and then I'll get the rest done off camera. Alright. Ooh, that might have just been a hair over. Nope, good. The only thing I would say about this beam scale is the point that's marked on the actual frame is nice and pointy, but the one on the beam is, you know, it's a plastic, it's a piece of plastic that comes down to a point and it's kind of broad, so you know, you have a little bit of wiggle room there. So I wish they would get this to a little bit finer point on the beam. But that's about it. I like that beam scale so far. And I just fucked up. I didn't move I almost messed up. Did not move my powder to the next charge. Or did not move my funnel to the next charge. Alright guys, that is it for now. I'm gonna bring you back to the bullet seating shortly. Alright, we got all of our cases charged up with 40.6 grains. Now let's dial in the seating die. I got my Lee seating die in the press, and we need to, so the first 10 will do 20 thousandths off the lands, which is 2.220. So let's dial that in. I already double checked to make sure all of my cases are charged. It's good to take and get a flashlight, go, you know, look in every single case. You need to double, triple check, make sure they're all charged up with powder. Alright, so we're looking for 0.220, or yeah, 0.220. Alright, so the first setting on the die gets us to there we go, 2.289. So we're going to go down a little bit more. .275, so I need to go down quite a bit more. .251. .232. So let's do 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Let's try that. This isn't a micrometer die, but I know about what it takes to dial it in, but I hate, you don't ever want to go too much. There we go, 2.220. So that is 20 thousandths off the lands. Let's get these all seated. .222. Now these are factory seconds, so one thing I did notice with these bullets is the ogive is off just a hair. This is the first factory second box I've had that happen. Most of the time it's just the discoloration of the copper or the tip, the polymer tip. Sometimes it's like a brown instead of a red. And that's no big deal because the color don't mess with the measurement. But this box did have the ogives were messed up on these ones. Not messed up, they're all pretty uniform. It's just some were set back a little bit further than the others. I weighed most of the box out to 0.788, and then the other half, or the other good chunk of the box, was 0.785, and then there was a couple that was actually at 0.900, but that was only a couple, so that wasn't a big deal. So the majority of them were within 2 categories, but yeah, so they were off a little bit. But I've been buying factory seconds for a while now. I'll pick them up every now and then if they're on sale for a decent price, and this is the first time I've actually had the ogive off even a little bit. Alright, so this one is 219.5, 220, so perfect. And 219.5, perfect. Alright, I'm going to get the rest of these. I will bring you back on the 35 thousandths row. Alright guys, we are moving on to the next seating depth, which will be 2.205, 20 thousandths off the lands. We got to dial in the seating depth. 2.205 is what we're looking for. And I'm sitting at 214. And I got one filer already made from the last test. I didn't shoot all the filers. I had 3 filers for the last test. I only shot 2. And for this test coming up, I really only shoot one to 2 bullets to warm up the gun before I start my test, and that should be good enough. So this one will have 1 bullet to warm up the gun, and that won't be a big deal. Alright, that's the problem with the cameras. You start talking, you forget what you're doing. Alright, 214, so we need 205. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Let's try that. And 204. 204. Perfect. Within a thousandth of the seating depth is fine for me. Alright, because these ogives are off just a little bit, I'm going to back out on the die. Okay, so we're back to 214, 215-ish. So 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. That should get us close to there, if not perfect. 2045, 204. Perfect. I also check every time I bring a case to the press. I always check for powder. It's a good thing to do. I mean, I know I've gone through the whole thing and looked down with a flashlight, but it's good to do. Alright, I don't know if I backed that die out, so I'm not going to seat it all the way. Yeah, I did back the die out. So 253. No, I didn't back the die out. Okay, so 2045. That's perfect. Back that die off just a little bit. These neck tensions are really nice. They're all seating about the same force on the press, so 2095. So we got to go down a couple thousandths. So 9, 8. That should be close. 2045. Perfect. Alright guys, I'm going to seat the last row, and I'll see you out on the range. Alright guys, we are shooting our confirmation load from the load development on the ELDX 143 grain. We came to the conclusion 40.6 grains of H4350 powder was good for our powder test. Our seating depth test came with a couple good surprises there. One was at 35 thousandths off the lands, but before and after were bad, bad groups. And then right at 20 thousandths off the lands was a little worse group than 35, but before and after 20 thousandths off the lands were also pretty decent groups. So I loaded up 20 rounds, 10 at 35 thousandths off the lands, 10 at 20 thousandths off the lands, and we're going to do 2 5-shot groups of each. And I think that's about it. We're at 100 yards, like always. Let's get this thing started. So we'll shoot the 35 thousandths off the lands first. Oh, don't start raining. Well, these aren't going to be my best groups. It's starting to sprinkle, and I got my cameras all set up, so I got to get this done. Not trying for an excuse, but this fucking sucks. Alright. Can't wait for fall time, I'll tell you. The bugs are another thing that really fucks with your groups. Because there's always a mosquito that's about ready to bite you right when you're letting your breath out. So this is the last one for the first group. That is not a bad 5-shot group. Can't see it too good down here, but I agree with you guys. I hate having a before and after powder charge and seating depth be bad. But sometimes, you know, if it shoots really good, we'll see how this pans out. The 20 might be a little bit worse group, but if it's consistent a little bit before the lands, or a little bit before the seating depth and after the seating depth, then maybe that will be the better one to go with. Alright, second group at 35 thousandths off. Bugs are horrendous. Alright, here we go. I'm trying to get all lined up before I put the chamber in there. The barrels, yeah, I love this barrel. 6 shot and still just getting warm now. By the way, I did take down the scope a little bit so I didn't shoot into my writing on the board. Alright, get all lined up. Alright, looks like the rain did die off, just a quick couple sprinkles. Still don't look too good above me, but Alright, that ain't too bad. Don't look like. So the two, starting on the first group at 20 thousandths off the lands. Next. Alright. Tell you, I love this little arken optics bag that came with a scope for my elbow. That one might have been me. Second shot on the first 20 thousandths off the lands. I gotta remember that. We'll see. But I felt like I might have pulled that one just a hair. Last one on the first group, 20 thousandths. All right. Second group, 20 thousandths off the lands, last group of the day. Best I can right now on this last one, because the first 20,000 don't look too good, but I'm pretty sure I pulled one of those shots, maybe two. So this one I am fucking doing my goddamnedest. I don't care if bugs are biting me or not. No, that was a good shot, and this group still ain't showing up like the other one. she's starting to get hot. Glad there's only one more bullet. Can just start getting my... Yep. Put my hand on it for a minute, or a few seconds, but that's it. I hate shooting this freaking hot, but this spring and summer so far has been outrageous on rain. Like, it's just ridiculous. We're not even in summer yet, but I don't think. And we just had so much rain, and it's hard to get out here. And with the rain, just is more bugs. Last shot. Oh, we got safety on that one. Yeah. Alright, let's go back up to the bench and check out how we did. Alright guys, we are up here back at the bench. And all the brass looks good. Like I knew it would, you know, we've shot 40.6 out of this gun plenty of times, so brass looks great. Nice round edges on the primer pocket, or primers. No big old shiny spot. No smiley face for the injector. Looks pretty good. Check out groups next. So these are the groups we shot. These first two are our 35 thousandths off the lands. Our final load, as you guys know, was 40.6 grains of H4350 CCI large magnum rifle primers. Our best group ended up being 35 thousandths off the lands, which is 2.205 for my rifle. But just because before and after, like I said, was not as good, so 30 thousandths off the lands wasn't a good group, and 40 thousandths off the lands wasn't a good group. So 35 was a perfect, you know, nice, awesome group, but before and after it wasn't that great. I understand, you know, I got a few comments, and I do understand that it's not good to load in between two bad groups, but as you guys can see, that's why I loaded up another set. And this set was 20 thousandths off the lands, because 20 thousandths ended up being good, 15 thousandths ended up being good, and 25 thousandths ended up being good. Now, none of those three was as good as 35 thousandths off the lands, but all of them were pretty good groups. So that's why I went with 20 thousandths off the lands. Like a commenter said, it would be good to explore around that 20 thousandths, because it was a pretty decent span of good groups from 15 thousandths to 25 thousandths. Like I said, 30 thousandths was bad. So I tried 20 thousandths, and those aren't bad. I mean, those aren't bad groups. Now what I might do, because I still have a few bullets left, I might go up a little bit from 20 thousandths, because 25 thousandths was, I think, a little bit better group than 15 thousandths. So heading up the chart from 25, from 20 to 25, I think would be, we tighten that group up a little bit more than 20. So I may try like 22, 23 thousandths off the lands and see if we hit a sweet spot there. But I'm not going to load up too many of those. I don't even know if I'll film it, but if I do, you guys will see it. But I'm not going to load many. I'll probably do 10 shots at like 22, 23 thousandths off the lands and see what that is. But I'm thinking our our final load is going to be that right there. I mean, you can't beat that. I know once we got up to 40 thousandths, it started opening up. 40 thousandths off the lands, and 30 thousandths opened up too. So you really can't beat that group right there at 0.543. Next one was even better. Now, you can probably say, okay, the barrel was heating up. Maybe that's why the 20 thousandths shot worse in this test. But the last group, or the second 20 thousandths group, shot better than the first 20 thousandths group. So, you know, as you can see, that one was my first shot today, 20 thousandths off the lands, and I might have pulled one of those, but the rest were all good. Second group at 20 thousandths ended up being a lot better. So I don't think it was barrel heat. That barrel shoots good warm. I don't shoot it, you know, extremely warm, which I didn't shoot it extremely warm today. Probably the warmest I've ever shot it was today, but it's still not scorching hot. As you guys can see in the video, it's not ridiculous. I couldn't just lay my hand on it for, you know, 2-3 minutes this time. But yeah, I don't like to shoot my barrels, you know, too hot anyways. But it's looking like that's going to be our load right there. 35 thousandths off the land, looks like the sweet spot. Either way, I'm just a backyard shooter, and I do understand, you know, the comments saying, you know, before and after 35 thousandths was bad groups, and I'm loading in between two bad groups. I understand that. But it's hard to beat under quarter of an inch. I wouldn't say quarter of an inch because only one of those is quarter, but I'd say this load can achieve half MOA, no problem. So yeah, that's all I want to show you guys, the groups. We already looked at the brass, so I'll wrap this one up. Take it easy, guys. Thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you for subscribing. If you can share this, comment, like it, all the good stuff, I'd greatly appreciate it. I do have a Patreon. If you guys want to help support the channel, I would greatly appreciate that as well. But not necessary. Thank you for everything you guys do so far. Subscribers are going up. Alright guys, I will see you in the next one.